Hey, if you wanted to create your own podcast, well, here's an opportunity to do so. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. So let me explain. It's free. Their creation tools will allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Conversations About ... Now, you're probably wondering what this podcast is about. Trust me, there'll be an introduction episode to go into that. But I'm going to start this one off with two people who I honestly believe are some of the coolest people I've ever met from the land of YouTube. They're the Rasco brothers. They not only do art streams on YouTube, they also do some fun stuff with music. There are a lot of musical moments on their live streams especially. There's a lot of art, there's a lot of video games, and I love their stuff to death. So introduce yourself, Rasco brothers.
Hey, thank you, Will. Hi, everybody. We're the Rasco brothers. I'm JinglesRasco.
I'm Rasco.
Good morning, evening, or afternoon, depending on wherever you are at. It's good to see you.
Right. And as always, it is afternoon somewhere.
Yeah,
so
I'm pretty sure
it's
somewhere.
Always good to know that. Somewhere right now, if you're listening to this, it's afternoon.
Yes.
So it may not be afternoon where you are, but it's afternoon for someone at some point. So,
or evening.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you might be eating dinner, or lunch, or breakfast.
Right.
Or any other word you might call it.
Yes.
Or supper for those who do the supper thing.
Right.
Or if you're the Lord of the Rings fan, second breakfast.
Second breakfast, and the breakfast in between.
But what about third breakfast?
Third breakfast? You see, I never have read The Lord of the Rings, so I don't know how many breakfasts there are.
I read, I believe, the first chapter of The Hobbit, and unfortunately, I fell asleep.
No!
I enjoyed all of the films immensely, but I couldn't really get into Tolkien's storytelling, and I thought there was probably something wrong with me because of that. But
no.
upon listening to other writers and people that have like a lot of experience world building and stuff like that, they say Tolkien's strongest points is that he studied as a historian, so his world building is incredible, but his pacing and storytelling is kind of bland.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. I don't want to ever get to the point where I subscribe to a movie that I enjoy to where they get to the point where it's just like Lord of the Rings and the Hobbits is basically about a group of people walking around to destroy a ring.
Right, exactly.
So I don't want to ever get to that point, but I appreciate his world building, but there's a lot of it.
Yeah, there is a lot of it.
So this is going to be a two-parter. The first part is we're going to talk about comic books. We're going to talk not only about some comic book things going on in the near future, we're also going to talk about some representation in comics.
Yeah.
Part 2 is going to be about COBA, which has absolutely nothing to do with comics.
Yeah, currently.
It has everything to do with YouTube and its effect on artists like myself, artists like the Rasco brothers, different things like that, and a lot of other people that are out there. And so we want to take this opportunity to kind of share our feelings, our research, and stuff like that. Now, one thing I will tell you right off the bat, I'm not a lawyer. Pretty sure the Rasco brothers aren't lawyers.
I think I saw a lawyer one time.
Yeah, I've met a few lawyers. I've probably talked to some lawyers on the phone at my job because, lawyers make airline trips and hotel stuff. But that said, I'm not a lawyer.
I think out of all of us, I think I might have this one the most peg. I can't tell you how many times I've watched Law and Order. I feel like I'm pretty much an expert in this field.
I'm pretty sure that means that we're like experts on law.
Yeah. Well, see, so here's the thing. Yeah. If you take your years of watching Law and Order, and I take my years of watching Barney Miller, along with what other shows that I watch, Magnum PI.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Detective Work.
Magnum PI.
Yeah. And then, of course, Batman animated series, because, Batman's the greatest detective ever.
Right.
Yes.
Does that count for something? Should I technically be a detective at this point? And reading Sherlock Holmes books.
Right.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure that.
But what about
the
Columbo? Did we get in any Columbo?
Oh, no. See, if you're gonna say Columbo, I definitely was down with Columbo, and was also down with. Now, who was the character? Tony Selleck.
Oh,
was that Columbo? That wasn't Columbo.
No, I'm not sure. I keep thinking about
Peter Falk was a detective in the old TV series, and then there was oh gosh, I'm slaughtering these names. Okay, because it was a bald-headed detective, and there was the other guy who would always
Kojak.
say, one more thing. Kojak, there you go.
Kojak,
Alice was Kojak. And then, yeah. Who loves you, baby? Yeah, the sucker.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, watching all these shows and stuff and reading a whole bunch of Sherlock Holmes, does that make me a detective?
Yeah, exactly.
I know.
Yeah,
okay. Proxy.
So,
I just looked it up real quick. Peter Falk was Columbo.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, for purposes of pop culture purposes, we have a lawyer and a detective on the podcast now.
There we go.
We're not gone to school for any of it.
No, of course not.
Pop culture cred speaks boldly here, so we're just going to take that. So, first thing I want to do is get into some comic book newsy stuff.
Yes.
So, did you guys see the Black Widow trailer that dropped this week?
I did see the Black Widow trailer.
Too.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
All right, and I think Iggy Azalea missed a major marketing ploy because she released the Black Widow song 3 years ago.
Uh-huh.
That's
I think if she had waited a little while, she could have had this as the bumper for this trailer.
Right.
Where you had Scarlett Johansson fighting to Iggy Azalea's Black Widow.
Yep,
that's right. And I'm trying to remember the music video. It had one actor who'd been in a whole bunch of Quentin Tarantino films. He was in Kill Bill.
It had Billy Madison. Who was in Kill Bill.
That's what. Yeah, and he was also in The Hateful Eight and a bunch of other ones.
Yeah. He is a staple in a lot of Quentin Tarantino movies. He's been in a lot of them.
I thought you said Billy Batson.
Billy Batson.
Billy Batson was in Kill Bill.
That would be interesting.
Right.
I can see it now. You didn't think it was going to be that easy, did you? Actually, I did. And she goes upstairs and they say, no, he's like, Shazam! And then it's just boom. And
comes back down.
It's the Bride versus Shazam in a battle where she literally has a metal sword, and as soon as he says Shazam, she'd be dead.
Yep, pretty much.
Right.
That would change though.
Not to derail too much away from the original premise of Black Widow, but what do you feel about this recent, I would say big fat air quotes, recent change from Captain Marvel to Shazam?
I'm gonna say this. I was in the hospital when the Captain Marvel movie was out. So I didn't get to see it in theaters, but I did get to hear Brie Larson in a lot of interviews. So that kind of wounded me as far as trying to be a guy who loves comics, because I'm like, okay, I'm a dude that would have gone to your movie and seen it had you not made me feel bad for not understanding the female-led Ghostbusters movie.
Right.
Yes. Here's the thing. I watched that. Speaking of that, here's my tie-in. Okay. I watched that movie in the hospital because there was literally nothing else on TV that night. And I couldn't sleep because they never come and get blood work from you at 12:30 in the afternoon. They always get it at midnight.
Yes.
When you're starting to finally get to sleep, that's when they want to do blood work, and then you're up for another 3 hours, and then by the time you finally get winding down again, hey, we need some more blood work from you again. Really? You just took blood work for 4 hours.
Right.
Yep.
So I watched the female-led Ghostbusters, and I will tell you, it was just a badly written script.
Yeah.
It wasn't good. It wasn't a good movie.
It wasn't a really good movie. There was stuff about it that I did enjoy, and I will admit that, because definitely the internet and most male nerds will be like, it's just an awful movie all around, and I'm the kind of weirdo that likes to try and find the good things in even some of the worst media and stuff like that. The Ghostbusters, female-led Ghostbusters film, there were times when I laughed. The thing that I really liked probably the most was a lot of the visual effects throughout the film.
Yeah.
I thought was really outstanding in many places.
Yeah.
And how they went mixing practical with CGI together to make
Right.
You know, the effects in it, and I thought that was amazing. But otherwise, the story was really dull, and some of the jokes were good, but for the vast majority, it was pretty unfunny to me. But
well, I mean, one of the best jokes I thought was in the whole thing. They already gave it away in the trailer when Leslie Jones is smacking the snot out of Melissa McCarthy and telling her about the power of Christ compels you. Get out of my friend.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, but that was in the trailers.
Yes.
So I'd already seen it.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know.
But
I think we're the question being about Captain Marvel versus Black Widow or Captain Marvel versus Shazam.
Oh, it was. What about it? What are your feelings about the naming of? Because he used to go by Captain Marvel for a long time,
right?
And then, given I would say the resurgent popularity of Captain Marvel from Marvel, up to the forefront.
Let's talk about that, because that's actually a legal thing for Marvel DC,
right?
Because the original Captain Marvel character was from Charlton Press.
Yes.
And when DC got bought out Charlton Press, that's when they got characters like Blue Beetle, the original Sandman.
Yep.
They got Captain Marvel. Well, then Marvel had created the Captain Marvel, which we know of as the guy who was Captain Marvel,
right?
Who they eventually did the big death of Captain Marvel storyline.
Right.
Yeah.
And because Marvel had already created that character before DC got the rights to who we now know as Shazam.
Yeah.
And so they were like, well, we're going to do this character. It's going to be that Captain Marvel, because that was his old school name from when we got it from Charlton Press. And Marvel was like, we have a character in Captain Marvel already.
Yep, that's right.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
So slap on the hand, we're going to sue you if you put this out. So they put out the first couple of comics, and they ended up getting the cease and desist from Marvel. At the time, the mouse was nowhere near them yet.
Yep.
But, so, because, the mouse handles his business.
Yeah.
That's for certain. History and all that sort of thing. Mickey Mouse handles his business. Like, you don't get legal stuff against Mickey Mouse. We'll tell you that right now.
The mouse gets his paper.
Ask Howard the Duck how that is.
Yeah, exactly.
If you go up against the mouse.
No.
Oh, man.
But it's just reality. But anyway, so here's the thing. So when that all went down, you had this situation where Marvel had a character named Captain Marvel. And so they weren't going to get rid of that name so that DC could then come back and have a character named the same name. So then they were like, well, wait a minute. They took, I think it was 2 or 3 years off. Like, you didn't see a Shazam or Captain Marvel comic from DC for 2 years. And then they came back with the acronym for Shazam, being, the strength of Hercules, the different, because I don't remember them all right off at the moment.
Right.
But anyway, they came up with the acronym that created the term Shazam, which was in the books at the beginning.
Right.
But then it went like, oh, wait a minute, we could just change him this.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where they went back with that.
Now Will's got me thinking about, like, the acronym, because now I'm all like, strength of Hercules. I think it was like the speed of Hermes, something of Athena or Ares, Zeus, and then I think this is where I get mixed up. It's the 2 A's, and then the final M. I can't quite remember. Jingles looks like he's looking it up right now, though.
I am.
Is the M Mercury, maybe?
Acronym for the 6 immortal elders: Solomon, Hercules, Atlas, Zeus, Achilles, and Mercury.
Oh.
Okay, there we go. So the first one is for Solomon. The wisdom of Solomon. There we go.
The wisdom of Solomon.
Thank you. Yeah.
And so there we go. Research pays off. Kids.
Hey, you guys remember when?
Stay in school.
You guys remember when Hercules was like a small-time member of the Avengers?
Yeah, he had several solo books. As a matter of fact, whenever they did the World War Hulk, one of the books that came out of that was The Incredible Hercules.
That's right. Yes.
And so him and Amadeus Cho were running around for about 2 years.
Yeah. Amadeus Cho.
Yeah, and they had to determine that Hercules was Olympian.
Yeah.
And that's why in a battle between him and Thor would win, because an Asgardian is always more powerful than an Olympian.
Yeah.
Whoa. I did not know they established that.
Yeah.
Wow. That's neat.
They fought several times, and Hercules, as strong as he is, could never overcome the power of Thor.
Now, here's what
makes a lot of sense.
Here's what's really funny to me is that they've got Hercules, they've got Thor, but they've also got Ares, who's also
the God of War.
Yeah, he's just palling around somewhere in the Marvel Universe, just going, boy, I can't wait to make war again.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's funny. I don't know if they brought him back. I know at one point during one of the earlier runs, about 6 years ago, he got ripped apart by Sentry.
Yes, he did. It was during like the fall of Asgard or something.
Yeah, like Sentry and him are fighting.
Yes.
He's getting stronger because the more people fight, the stronger he gets. He's got like the Hulk in that regard.
Yeah.
He literally gets stronger the more war happens. And so like Sentry just literally flies him up in the middle of space, rips him in half.
Yeah.
And it just throws him across. And I'm like, wait. The God of War just got ripped in half by this psychotic, weird, good guy, bad guy version of one body thing that we got created 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was awesome.
yeah. Like it was awesome to see it happen, but at the same time, you're like, he just ripped apart the God of War.
Yeah,
Who's not that guy?
I know. And apparently, but then again, this is before like the big boom of most recent Captain Marvel, because back then Sentry was tops. Nobody could beat Sentry.
Yeah. Exactly.
But now after Captain Marvel's most recent power boost, she's on top now.
Yeah. Apparently, she just smacked the taste out of Thor's mouth a few episodes back, and I'm sitting there going, I'm almost curious to get the trade paperbacks of that. Like, I don't want to go buy the independent, the regular title. I want to go get the trade and just sit down and read it and just be like, explain to me how this happened. Other than they're trying to promote. Like, they're trying to promote for a future movie that, oh, by the way, speaking of Black Widow, may overtake Captain Marvel's movie.
Oh.
I wouldn't complain about that.
I'd actually be pretty happy about that. I feel like she deserves it.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's how you bring something back to the beginning.
That's how. Whoa! What a crazy highway and a segue we've been on, but it all just came right back. Will just took one more left turn, and we were right back to where we started.
Right.
How did we get back to the diner?
Yep. Hey, we took the right turn at Albuquerque, right?
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah, that's how we did it. So here's the thing I love about the Black Widow trailer, besides the fact that it establishes the future.
Right.
Yes.
Because we're gonna probably end up getting the blonde Black Widow out of this. Her like sister, quote unquote sister. We actually get David Harbour. So we've been finding out what he's been doing during the Stranger Things hiatus when he was kidnapped in Russia. Now he's gonna come back as a Russian cosmonaut with a shield.
Yeah.
So a lot of people that don't make that reference, in the end of Stranger Things season 3, Harbour ends up getting he's thought to be dead, and at the very end of the season, they go and they say, "Hey, bring out the prisoner, not the American, but the other one." And so we all know at this point, okay, Harper ain't dead; he's still there. And so my personal link on this is he became a cosmic soldier, and now he's running around as the Red Guardian. That works for me.
I was honestly just banking in that he just he disappeared at the end of season 3, and then he just went and did Hellboy for a little bit, and he was like, "Nah, I don't think I'm going to do that," and then he became the Red Guardian.
Yeah, that makes sense. The only thing I wish for in this movie is that since we got Red Guardian, I hope we get Ursa Minor and Ursa Major, who are the Russian equivalents of the Avengers, because that gummit is a talking dude. One of the people on that team is a talking bear.
Yes, Yes.
That's all I want. Right there.
Will, do you know? Do you remember Brute Force?
Yes, I do.
Dude, what if we get a Brute Force movie?
Oh, that would be such a cool spinoff.
No, I'm still holding hard for Great Lakes Avengers.
Yes,
that's what I'm waiting for.
They'd be awful.
They'd be awful.
Well, here's the thing: with the Hawkeye series coming to Disney Plus, we could eventually get a spinoff of a Great Lakes Avengers.
I would not complain.
Hold on, I'm gonna look up their membership right quick.
God,
the membership of Great Lakes Avengers.
That's gonna be one of the most beautifully horrible things you've ever seen in your life. Like, there's a character, I think his name is 3D Man. He's literally like Mr. Fantastic. That's the worst possible version of him.
Who else was that? One thing that I think about probably too much, and that I'm still kind of upset I never saw in the MCU to this point, as of this recording, have not seen, the Wrecking Crew. I'm really upset that I haven't seen the Wrecking Crew yet.
Aw, yeah, that's true.
But here's the thing, guys. Remember, we got Ragnarok 2.
Right, we got Ragnarok 2. We got Girl Thor coming.
Sorry, not Ragnarok. What up? Not Ragnarok 2. Technically, it's Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which sounds like a really bad '80s pop song.
Right. It does.
It's like you got love and thunder. It's odd.
As long as Beta Ray Bill's in it, I won't complain.
Oh, you know what? Yes. Right there. Yes to that all day. As a matter of fact, I want him in that movie, and then I want him in Guardians 3.
That's right.
Yes. Can we just get a Beta Ray Bill movie?
Can we just Beta Ray Bill?
Well, you remember in Ragnarok, there's a statue of him.
I do.
From the deal. So he's in the movie technically represented as a statue.
Yes.
Also, we got a representation of Bobby's. Because Bobby's was in the statue as well.
Yeah, we actually had a really fun moment. See, we got Disney Plus, and we've been rewatching some Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
Yeah. Because
I personally think it's fantastic because it draws way more on the comics than it does out of any of the movies.
Yeah.
And when there's a whole episode about when Thor meets Beta Ray Bill, and it's just this wonderful little adventure. And here's what's great about those episodes: each one of them feels like a paperback, a trade paperback, because of how tight the story is. And that was the first time we showed our buddy Beta Ray Bill.
Yeah.
And at first he was like, "Who's this giant horseman?" And you know, just talking smack. And then we're like, "Dude, that's Beta Ray Bill." And before Cap ever lifted the hammer, Beta Ray Bill was the only person in the entire universe that was worthy of Mjolnir.
Yep.
But anyway,
not only was William Mjolnir, but Odin made him his own hammer, and he had the first hammer named Stormbreaker.
Yes.
So if we get him in the movie at some point, there ought to be a scene where he's got his hammer and Thor's got his axe, and he looks like, "What in the world is that?" He's like, "It's Stormbreaker." No, it's not.
No, it's not. This is Stormbreaker.
No, you can't have Stormbreaker. I have Stormbreaker. Yeah, but I have Stormbreaker. So I did the unfortunate thing and looked up the Great Lakes Avengers, and we got now buckle up right here. So their team leader right now.
Really quick.
Yes.
Just because I'm sure a good number of our listeners are going to be people that are interested in comics but don't know a whole lot about comics.
Okay. Yes.
So Great Lakes Avengers is a sect of the Avengers that just generally are considered not super great heroes.
No.
And that's probably...
I don't even know if you could... Yeah, I don't even know if you could say D class would be the best class.
Right.
Maybe Z tier? Like, they have one interesting power, but it's not really good.
I mean, the only one that I know people tend to talk about a lot is Squirrel Girl. She's
a recent ad.
Yeah.
She's a recent ad. And she's not, I mean, she's a part of the team, but she hasn't been a part of the team as long as some of the members who've been there for a while.
Right.
And I'll say this, if you were in a situation that Captain America said you could pick 5 out of the 10 that are here, and the Runaways were 5 of them, and the other guys from the main team were there, Cap would take the Runaways and pray.
Right, yeah.
That's just how,
The Runaways are incredibly powerful. I was explaining to our roommate, like, the Runaways and stuff, and I had a copy of the first part of the Runaways and stuff.
Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. That's such a beautiful arc of storytelling.
It's really, really good, and I enjoyed it a lot. And I haven't seen the show yet. I haven't seen the Inhumans show yet. I know Cloak and Dagger were going to do a thing for a while, but I haven't seen that.
Let me stop you real quick.
Yes.
You never need to watch the Inhumans.
Yeah, I've been so I've been told this.
I made it through the first episode, and my first response after watching it for 30 minutes was, they messed up Lockjaw. I'm so done with this show.
Yeah.
How do you mess up a giant dog with a tuning fork on his head.
Yeah, exactly.
Such a simple concept.
The reason why the conversation about the Inhumans came up was because our roommate had found a clip from the show where Black Bolt, as a teenager, like he's having it's all in slow motion and it looks ridiculous and it's shot really weird, but he's having a conversation with his parents and he says something like "why," and it obliterates them.
Yes,
because that's when his powers were going.
Yeah.
And it's just like
Right.
it's shot so weird and so ridiculous, and that's like the reason why he took a look at it in the first place.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
No. Like, that's a terrible way to introduce such an awesome character.
Right, and I was telling him, like, I am a big fan of Black Bolt. I think he's amazing, but, you know...
The way they handled him in that series, the way they handled most of those characters in the series was just not well done. I mean, Medusa's hair is almost a whole conversation for a 30-minute podcast alone, how horrible it was.
Yes. So,
anyway, yes, Great Lakes Avengers.
Great Lakes Avengers.
Great Lakes Avengers.
Yes. So, team leader, I'm finding out right now, is Mr. Immortal. Okay. And Mr. Immortal's superpower is that he's a super good athlete, but he can't die via, he resurrects all the time. And that's it.
Yeah.
There's also Dinosaur. That's her name.
Yeah.
And she goes by the name, and she goes by the superhero handle Dinosaur, spelled the exact same way.
Okay.
One of my personal favorites is Big Bertha.
I know Big Bertha.
Big Bertha's
If
ability
I'm not
is
mistaken,
yes.
she's a model. If I'm not mistaken, in the books.
Yeah, when she's all shrunked up.
Right.
But she also has the ability to I don't know what to quote the new Miss Marvel, to embiggen herself.
I was gonna say to bigify.
And then
Or for those of you who like super fans, elect talk.
Yes, Enuktuk.
Yeah.
I miss Apache Chief.
I love Apache Chief.
Here's this guy that Will was bringing up, except he's called Flatman.
Oh, Flat.
Oh, you're right.
Yes.
Yep.
There's also Doorman. I'll let you guess at what his power is.
He opens doors.
He opens doors. Like, doesn't he have like little pocket portals or something like that? He can go through doors and different things or something.
In my mind, I hear the phrase "he opens doors," but it's like figuratively, he creates opportunities for jobs.
Yes.
He is the advancement for all of us.
There you go.
Hi, sir. I hear you need a job. Here, let me open this door for you. And I'll walk through it and get this job.
I have created this
Wow,
opportunity.
thanks, Doorman.
Anyway.
You're awesome, sir. Hey, little child, I hear you need an opportunity to get your teeth fixed. Well, you know my parents don't have insurance. Here, let me open the door for your parents to get this insurance plan to help fix your teeth.
Okay. So that one really got me. Those are the core members right there. Yeah. But we've already mentioned a handful of recruits. By the way, I remember Deadpool joining them one time. But
yes.
Their recruits, I mean, we've already mentioned Squirrel Girl. Mm-hmm. They also had Monkey Joe, Grasshopper, Tippy Toe, Grasshopper again for some reason. Oh no, it's a new Grasshopper.
Yeah, it's Grasshopper
yeah, I think
too.
one of the Grasshoppers died or something, so they created a new one.
Deadpool, the third Grasshopper.
Is a legacy hero, but nobody cares about him.
Gravity and Good Boy.
Oh, Good Boy.
And his brother Bad Boy, his evil dark nemesis.
Oh man, not Bad Boy.
No. Not Bad Boy, gosh.
Oh,
Bad Boy smokes the cigarettes and he runs around in those dark alleys.
Oh, what a bad boy.
Wow.
He's a horrible individual. He smacks candy out of children's hands and such.
Wow.
Wow, what a bad boy.
Yep. And they just call him Bad Boy.
So all in all, Disney Plus has been amazing.
Yeah, so far. Yeah.
Okay.
Really happy.
So I gotta tell y'all a con moment real quick. I went to GalaxyCon in Louisville,
All right.
and I got a chance to shake hands with Michael Dorn.
Oh,
No
very
way.
Dorn, for those of you who may or may not know, Michael Dorn not only played Worf on Star Trek Next Generation, he also played a character on my favorite show from Disney Plus, Gargoyles.
Yep.
He was Thaylog. He was basically the person that was part of their group that ended up getting damaged, and he ended up having like cybernetic parts, and like Xanatos was able to control him and all this crazy stuff.
Yep.
And so he did the voice of Thaylog. Well, I asked him, I said, they're doing this reboot of Gargoyles.
Mm.
Would you be interested in coming back as Thaylog if they did it? He says, if they do it, I hope to God they call me. I would love to go back to that world.
Nice.
Thaylog is voiced by Keith David because Thaylog is Goliath backwards.
Was he?
You're thinking about Cold Stone, I believe.
Oh, Cold Stone.
Oh,
yeah.
You're right. You're so right.
I say that because
so right.
Cold Stone was my favorite character in Gargoyles.
I guess he humored me. I guess he humored me enough that I called him by the wrong name.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
He knew I was talking about. He knew I was talking Gargoyles. He was just like, and Michael Dorn sounds so powerful, but he looks like your granddad.
Yeah.
So he's just this really sweet dude. He's just like, I appreciate you talking about gargoyles. I haven't had a gargoyles question in weeks.
Yeah. Everybody talks about the Next Generation.
Everybody wants to talk about Star Trek all the time. I like gargoyles.
I would love to talk to them about Star Trek, but Gargoyles is so good. And yes, Cold Stone was always my favorite, including Cold Steel and Cold Fire as well.
I know that this is like just really left considering what we're talking about, but like just Will talking about getting to meet Michael Dorn reminds me of that picture that he took with Mark Henry. Mm-hmm. Mark, too damn big for this world, Henry. And I just wanna sort of, from a poet's standpoint, just you to describe how positively gigantic his hand was when you shook hands.
Okay, so Mark Henry's hand ate my hand. And I'm not a small man at all. By any stretch of the imagination, I'm not a small person, but he made me feel like a small child. So there's a story behind this. So I did a book. I write and illustrate children's books. Well, a couple of years back, I decided I love wrestling. I'm going to do a wrestling art book. So I worked hard on a good Kenny Omega cover and then started drawing a bunch of different wrestlers.
Yes.
One of the wrestlers I drew in that book was Mark Henry because I've always loved him as a character, everything from Sexual Chocolate beyond.
Yes.
Really, my favorite era was, of course, the Hall of Pain era.
Yeah.
Where Randy Orton put him over twice. Okay. Okay. Think about what I just said for a second.
Yeah.
Randy Orton put him over twice. Randy Orton doesn't hardly put anybody over.
No, he
doesn't. But he put Mark Henry over twice.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, this man, when I got to this table, had just lifted like this German dumbbell that weighs like 150 pounds with one hand.
Damn.
And there's only apparently like 4 people on the planet who have ever lifted this thing.
Yeah.
And he's one of the 4 people.
Well, he's the world's strongest man.
So
yeah,
exactly. And I mean, the man pulled two semi trucks on SmackDown. I saw that. People were like, well, wait a minute, wasn't that set up? No, he did that to break a Guinness Book of World Records. That's legit. But anyway, so I'm over there, he's talking to a little girl about Fortnite because apparently his kids love Fortnite.
Right.
And so he's talking about Fortnite with this little girl and, and all this. And so I get up there, I'm like, hey, Mr. Henry, I just want to say thank you for representing us well in wrestling. I don't have money to give you for a photograph, but I would like to give you this drawing book that I did. He's like, oh, really? He said, yeah. He said, who you got in there? And so I said, well, I got Flair in there. I got Dusty Rhodes.
Nice.
I got, Jerry the King Lawler.
Yeah.
I got Roman. I've got Cena. I said, but you're going to want to find this one really interesting. I'll open it up. And I signed the picture I drawn of him. Mm-hmm. He goes, wait, that's me. I go, yeah. He goes, you drew this? I said, yeah. And then he looks at me real quick. He goes, I got one problem with this picture. I'm like, oh, God, he's going to kill me.
No. Oh, no. No.
And we're a con. He could kill me and nobody would know the difference. And who's going to tell Mark Henry he can't kill me? Okay? And then let's con. Mark Henry is a hostile man. And so I said, well, what's the problem, sir? He says, I need you to take a picture with me with this book so I can show off that you drew the picture. I said, well, Mr. Henry, I appreciate that, but I don't have the extra $30 to pay for it. He said, man, get over here and get this picture. I said, okay.
Oh, yeah, yes, sir, Mr. Henry.
He literally told his handler to take my phone and take the picture. And his handler was like, you need to charge it. No, you need to take this picture. Okay. And the handler was just like, okay, I'm not an idiot.
Yep.
I'm going to take this picture because man said to take the picture of this guy who I don't know.
Mark Henry said take the picture. I'm going to take the picture now.
I'm taking the picture. He just lifted up a dumbbell that weighs more than my head. Okay. But yeah, that guy was doing. Now this year, another thing, I don't know if you saw the most recent pictures, because I went to GalaxyCon this year. I also got to be in a picture with Lou Ferrigno.
No way.
Awesome.
Wow.
65 years old. Mm-hmm. The guy is jacked to the gills.
Yep.
No way.
I've seen recent pictures.
Everybody was doing normal stuff at the con. You know, like I went to Felicity Day's panel. She was talking about stuff she did with different shows like Supernatural and The Guild and stuff like that. Lou Ferrigno's was getting in shape with Lou Ferrigno.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Like he literally talked about exercise for an hour.
Yep.
Nice.
And it's like, of all the people on the planet to talk to, you got the 65-year-old guy to sit there and talk about that, and still looks like he could destroy 90% of the people in the room.
Mm-hmm.
I know. Wow.
He'd still be the Hulk today, I swear.
Exactly. And it's funny because I cosplayed as the Smart Hulk, and then like the week of the con, he comes out and says, well, I really wish they'd go back to the Savage Hulk because Savage Hulk's a lot more beautiful. And I was the one that kind of brought this whole thing to light in the series that we did. And, you know, I don't like the Smart Hulk. I'm going, crap, here I go cosplaying. I'm going to beat the guy who just said, I don't like the Smart Hulk. And he's going to be like, I'm just going to pay for this picture. I'm not going to bring it up.
Yeah.
I totally get it. Like, he has a right to that perspective. He played the character for however long. I get it. Mm-hmm. He has full rights to feel the way he does. He's good to go.
Wow.
You know, but it was just like, hi, Mr. Ferrigno. Here's the thing that blew my sister's mind, because my sister's in the picture too. I showed him a picture from when I was in Houston, Texas, and he saw me with Houston, Texas. I think I've told you the story of me meeting Stan Lee, right?
I think so.
I haven't heard any of this.
You can go ahead.
I'm on pins and needles right here, man.
All right, so we're gonna rewind back to like 2014, 2013. Mm-hmm. I went to a con in Houston, Texas, and Comic Palooza was the name of the con. It's still going on.
Yeah.
And so I'm cosplaying as Nick Fury because, of course, Nick Fury. I'm a black guy. Not a whole lot of people I can cosplay as. So I cosplayed as Nick Fury. I wore an eye patch. I'm pretty sure I stepped on 12 children. Because the eye patch, you can only see half of everything, you know. And so this one guy stops me. He's like, hey, somebody wants to come see you at this panel. Now, I had not seen any episodes of Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anything about the show. And I'm just like, okay, why do it? He said, no, you want to go with me. Just trust me. You need to come in here with me right now. I'm like, okay. So I went on with him, even though I don't know why. And so then he's looking for me later. He says, hey, I need you to have a question in mind. You got a question? I said, I'll have one by the time I get to the microphone. All right, bet, get in line. So, all right, I got in the line. All of a sudden I get tapped on the back, and I turn around, and it's Stan Lee saying, nice costume, bub.
Whoa.
I am freaking smooth out. Like 8-year-old me is losing his mind.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting here going like, man, thank you so much for creating the world I love. Mm-hmm. Like you've been your hand and your influence has been in everything. I mean, even the characters you don't do, you have influenced them. He said, well, you keep reading it, son, and we'll keep making them.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Well, then Lou Ferrigno was behind him. Now, I met Lou at a con in 2007 in Dallas, Texas. He was sitting at a table by himself. Mm-hmm. Nobody was there. I'm like, do they not know who he is? So I went over there and started talking to him. We were talking for like 20 or 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. He goes, and so we talked, and he was like, hey, man, you know, I do autographs. At this time, we didn't have selfies yet.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So, you know, he's like, I do autographs for $30. So I was like, well, I don't have the extra money. If I would, man, because he'd been talking. He said, man, if I could do it, I would give it to you. He said, you first person to talk to me in like the last few hours. So I appreciate you coming and talking to me. So I really appreciate, because I asked him a lot of questions about like him almost going blind with the contacts, and all the different stuff. His accident he had when he was a kid, left him almost completely deaf. He was born partially deaf, and then he had an automobile accident when he was like 6. And so all this stuff I just asked him about, I just picked his brain. And so then when we were in Houston, he goes, "Didn't I meet you in Dallas back a few years ago?" I was like, "Yeah, you sure did. We talked at your table for a while at the Dallas Comic-Con at Wizard World." "Yeah, man, we got to talking." And he goes, "Well, man, I need to go catch up a stand." I said, "No, you go catch up a stand, brother." Totally all right. And people behind me just like, "Who are you?" I said, "I'm just a dude, man. I'm just a guy."
I'm just a guy that loves comics.
Then fast forward to a few weeks ago, I showed him the picture of me when I was at the con in Houston. He goes, "Oh, yeah, I remember you. How you doing, man?" My sister goes, "Holy crap, he did meet him for real."
Yeah.
Like, she believed me, but it wasn't until she got that confirmation that she believed me.
Right.
Yeah.
Radical. Like, he remembers who he is. That's really awesome.
Yeah.
So we got pictures together and everything. That was really neat. So yeah, he's Jack Dude at 65. I wouldn't want to meet him in a lit corner, much less a dark one.
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
Yes, sir. Can you believe that they were trying to squeeze in Thor in that original live-action Hulk? Like, if you go back, there's an episode where Thor shows up, and like they tussle for a little bit. I don't know.
It's one of the Hulk movies, I think, where they do that.
Oh, was it? That makes sense.
Yeah, it's one of the movies that they did. Yeah. It was Thor versus Hulk, and then they did one that was called The Trial of the Hulk, where they did Daredevil and the Hulk were in it.
No way!
Yeah.
I didn't know they squeezed in Daredevil. Wow.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Why?
So Ben Affleck was not the first live action Daredevil. He was just by far probably the worst.
By far, probably the worst.
I'm not going to
just sad considering we had one in the 80s.
Yes,
that's true. That's true. I'm not gonna lie, I really do like the Netflix Daredevil, but then again, I don't think that's exactly a controversial opinion.
Probably
I feel
not.
like they hit Matt Murdock and Foggy and all the other characters really, really well. We recently watched the first season of The Punisher on Netflix.
Yes,
and we had an absolute blast the entire time.
We watched Daredevil season 1 and 2, haven't gotten to 3 yet, and we watched Punisher season 1, haven't gotten to 2 yet.
Yeah, well, if you skip Defenders, it's totally okay.
Another thing people tell me, I honestly like. Now with like Disney Plus and we got Netflix and everything, I kind of feel like I'm just gonna poke my head in for a little bit so that I gotta make my own opinions about things, especially when it comes with comics. I gotta watch the thing myself and then for the most part, and I tell my friends this all the time, it's okay to enjoy poorly done media, like bad movies. It's okay to enjoy those as long as you remind yourself these are not good. These are awful, but I'm enjoying them anyway. There's still stuff to enjoy there. And at the same time, it's okay to not like really well done media or really good movies.
Case in point, Martin Scorsese and his viewpoint that the Marvel movies aren't cinema.
Right.
Precisely.
He's entitled to that opinion because he's done a crap ton of movies over the years.
Yeah.
He's entitled to that opinion. I don't have to agree with it, but he's entitled to that opinion. He has a pedigree of movies that allow him to say pretty much what he wants to.
Yeah.
Concerning films.
Yeah. Did you get around to watching Joker?
I did not get a chance to watch the Joker. When it comes out on Blu-ray DVD, I will probably get it then. Okay. And do it that way. I've heard nothing but good things about it. Right. I know the media tore it apart.
Right.
And they talked a lot about, they talked a whole lot about the whole violence angle and stuff like that. And I'm like, the Fast and the Furious movies, after a point, pretty much became superhero flicks to me.
Yes.
But nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about the fact that, at one point you have Paul Walker jumping off of a truck. Yep. And Letty, who, Michelle Rodriguez, I love her to death, but a guy jumping out of a truck and she catching them as they're falling, I'm pretty sure physics would break her arms.
Yes.
Exactly.
Hard.
Yeah.
She's a tough girl. She ain't that tough.
No. It's like when The Rock has that scene in one of the Fast movies where he's like, hey, baby, go ahead and talk to the nurses and let them know that I got to go. She's like, what? Daddy's got to go to work.
Yes.
He breaks his own cast.
Yes. Yes.
Flexes the cast off. Yeah.
Like a positive lunatic.
That should have, I'm sorry, that was a moment where he should have immediately broke it. He should have immediately kicked the window open.
Yes.
And yelled out, if you smell what The Rock is cooking.
Yes.
Yes.
That was a missed opportunity.
But it's interesting that that you make a really good point about how they've more or less become superhero flicks at this point. And I can't help but wonder if if the explosion of Marvel in the cinema wouldn't have taken off as well as it had. I wonder if that influence, if they would have just naturally progressed into that angle, or if they're just emulating popular styles like there are right now. And it's just sort of interesting to sort of speculate. Well, I say it's interesting. I don't know if it's actually interesting to anybody else, but I also can't help but wonder, how fortunate we are to be able to have folks from Marvel doing Marvel movies.
Right. Well, I gotta steal a quote from Vic Stone's dad. If you've ever seen the Disney animated movie, I think it was War, where Cyborg has not become Cyborg yet. He's still Vic Stone, and his dad looks at him and says, "In a world where monsters and people are able to throw cars and break buildings in half, you throwing a football is not going to be real developmental for the future."
Yeah, that's right. And that really sucks because right afterwards, Vic is all like, "You're not going to come to any one of my games, are you?" And his dad says, "No."
No.
Oh.
Flat out. Just nope. Not going to do it.
No. That was, when I saw it, I was like, that's good. That's pretty good.
But that's the whole thing. In a world where you've got people who can run around in metal suits and shoot other people, aliens coming through the city, a group of guys driving cars around and robbing stuff isn't as fun unless you make it more like, come on, man. Hobbs and Shaw, Idris Elba literally says, "I'm the Black Superman."
I'm the Black Superman.
And then The Rock comes back later on and says, "Yeah, he is the Black Superman." It's like, Rock, you're half black yourself, bro. It's okay. It's half Samoan, half black,
It's funny because when we were watching that with our buddy, right before the movie started, he leaned over to us. He's like, "All right, so how do you think the final fight's going to play out? You think that they're going to nerf Idris Elba, or are they going to buff The Rock?"
They're going to buff The Rock.
Yep. Yeah, that was definitely a funny film. Everything.
But then again, it's like, do you need to buff a guy who is driving a truck while holding a chain that's holding onto a tow truck that's holding onto a helicopter? How much more do you need to buff a human being at that point? That's the Black Superman right there. That guy. Screw Idris Elba and his super suit.
Yes.
Because The Rock just did that with no enhancements whatsoever.
Yep.
Roman Reigns didn't even get that part. Rock did.
Oh.
It's very true. Roman Reigns didn't get that.
Rock is holding, like I said, I'm holding a chain. I'm driving a truck while holding a chain. While the truck that the chain is attached to is attached to a helicopter that's flying in the opposite direction.
Yep.
You know how many laws of physics you're breaking?
To
blow that off.
I only think that the greatest crime that they ever committed in that movie was not allowing Roman Reigns to do a Superman punch once.
There's no way those guys could have survived.
No.
There's probably a deleted scene somewhere when Roman Reigns just randomly Superman punching people, and they just cut it out because they were just like, we felt like it would be too much like his WWE persona. We needed to give him some new maneuvers.
Yeah. What if we make him pick up a guy and throw him down? Oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Let's do that.
Let's do that instead.
Yeah, Vince McMahon is secretly on the set going, "No, come on, cock the fist, Roman. Cock the fist, you do it. Cock the fist, Roman. Cock the fist one time. Do it, Roman. Do it. You know you want to."
As a gorilla walks around.
And then somebody's sitting there going like, who let this old man on set? I'm Kennedy McMahon. You got nothing to do with this movie, sir. Get off my set.
No, you don't understand. He needs to cock the fist.
What was that? Weren't you saying you watched a shoot interview with, who was it? Not Chris Jericho. It was Edge? Who was all like, it's like, oh, I messed up doing my promo.
Yeah, it was Edge.
Yeah. And,
it was a shoot interview with Edge.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how like he was doing a promo, and he had been practicing like this promo for like weeks and like had it down perfectly. And then when he goes out to do it, he just starts spouting nonsense. Like, they're not complete sentences. There's random words in there. It's ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense at all. And he leaves and he's like, dang, I just ruined my big chance to impress Vince McMahon and, you know, the WWE universe and everything. I messed up hardcore. And he sees Vince McMahon in the back as he walks by, just like, I'm so sorry, sir. I had it perfectly. I don't know what happened. And Vince McMahon says, you're a heel, ain't you? He's like, yeah. It's all like, yeah, when you're a heel, you can say whatever you want. The babyface is a kiss of death. You don't want that.
And that works. You know, it's funny. I watched, speaking of Edge, I watched a DVD on, of course, you know, the life of Edge after he retired. Mm-hmm. And one of the things they talked about, they had a moment, it was him, Matt, and Jeff, and Christian. Mm-hmm. And then they brought in the Dudley Boys. And of course, there was that famous moment where Edge speared Jeff. You know, Jeff's holding on to the title belt in the air.
Yes.
Edge climbed up the ladder, speared him off the belt, and hit the ground. And he said, somebody asked him the question. He said, how many people do, and we may have to edit this part out. I think I've got somebody coming back. I'm not for sure.
Okay.
But there was a moment where Edge does that, and he said he had a fan ask him at a convention. He said, how many times y'all practice that before you went out and did it? And Edge goes, practice it? You can't practice that.
Oh, no.
We literally did it that one time. Like, I almost broke my neck doing it then. I wasn't going to practice it and try to sit there and do it multiple times. I hope to succeed in breaking my neck. Because, I almost broke my neck the first time.
Damn.
It was only a one-shot deal. Like, it literally was just, I'm going to get on this ladder. I'm going to get level with Jeff. I'm going to jump off and spear him off this belt. Now, the two things that he had said I had to make sure happened was, one, Jeff hadn't loosened the belt. Because, of course, we were supposed to win the match. Mm-hmm. If Jeff had loosened the belt while he was up there, it was going to fall off, and it was going to look like basically I cost us the match. Mm-hmm. He said the second thing was I had to make sure not to die doing this spear off the top of the ladder.
Yeah, exactly.
And at the end, he didn't die from it. And, and Jeff's still alive doing his thing, which I'm not sure what the WWE is doing with him right now. I know he had another DWI, which, man. There's going to be a wrestling episode of this.
Yes.
And we're just going to have a whole entire episode of nothing but just old school wrestling memories.
Right. I was going to say, we've been recording for about 50 minutes. I feel like that there's so much more that we still want to talk about.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, we've transitioned pretty much through everything that we kind of want to cover in this podcast, from comics to movies to wrestling to
we started and we started off so well. We did. We started off talking about Black Widow trailer, and we started off talking about the Crisis crossover a little bit, and then we just kind of went from here to jump. So
speaking of the Crisis crossover, I just wanted to say real quick, I saw there was some interviews with some of the actors that were involved with the Crisis crossover, which is still happening. Mm-hmm. And they were talking about co-stars were talking about how great is it Brandon Routh?
Yeah, Brandon
Routh looks as Superman again.
As Kingdom Come Superman.
Kingdom Come Superman. Yeah. And people were saying like he came out of like the makeup and everything and came out on set, and everybody was all like, there's Superman.
There he is.
He's right there.
Nice.
He's back with us again. you know.
Yeah. Here's the beautiful thing about that Brandon Routh story, because we had that Superman Returns movie he was in.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so they admitted in an interview that he was basically picking up literally where Chris Reeves left off.
Yes.
With Superman 3
Yeah.
and
Superman
4.
Returns.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so basically he was picking up that character. And so you had the whole, Lois with the kid and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Well, in that movie. And so, of course, he's picking up from there. Well, then you had Kevin Conroy coming in as
old Bruce Wayne.
Man Bruce Wayne from Kingdom Come. They said he's either going to be the Kingdom Come Bruce Wayne or he's going to be the old man Bruce Wayne, and they may introduce Terry McGinnis. If they introduce Terry McGinnis in this crossover, I'm good for the rest of my life.
Exactly. I'd be good with Terry as well. I really do like Batman Beyond.
Come on.
Batman Beyond is probably, Batman Beyond is one of my favorite iterations of Batman ever, as far as the animated version.
Right.
I mean, but who really watched Batman Beyond?
I mean,
when I was at the con, I picked up the whole series on Blu-ray from a bootleg guy for like $35.
Nice.
I've been watching it for weeks.
I need to rewatch it.
Did he have it stuffed in his trench coat?
No, he had a whole bunch of stuff out there, and he even told me, it's like, if it doesn't work or something like that, you totally bring it back next year. I'm like, why do I have to wait till next year? Why can't you just give me a card? And I can say, so I don't have a card. It's like, okay, so you're that guy. Okay, I'll take my chances.
All right.
I knew it was a bootleg when I bought it, so I'll take my chances.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I picked it up, and I love it. Like, I just love the interactions. I love that they bring in the girl kind of as his backup, his support. Voiced by the wonderful Cree Summers from A Different World.
Right. And every cartoon from the 90s ever.
Yeah.
If there's a black female character in a cartoon in the 90s, Cree Summers probably voiced her.
Yeah. I like her as Styx from Sonic Boom.
No, none of that.
I know. I legit. I really do love Cree Summers in a lot, and Susie is still going to be probably my favorite character in Rugrats, like ever. She was always my favorite.
Yeah.
And she had the coolest last name. It was Carmichael.
Carmichael. Yep.
That's right.
Susie Carmichael. I actually drew her for the 31 Days in September drawing. I drew her as one of my cartoons that I went back and did.
Oh, that's radical.
And she was like one of my favorite characters too. So,
I loved Susie. No, it was nice to have an older girl to be the nice girl to Angelica's awful girl.
Gosh.
Yeah.
And she was such a
with so many things that I will never say on a podcast.
Right, exactly.
Or in general missteps.
You know what's really interesting is that, and I know we're already way out of time.
Yeah.
Almost
an hour.
Like whenever the plug gets pulled, I'm okay with that. But what's really interesting is that I still remember elements of the pilot episode of Rugrats. And Angelica and Tommy went on a little adventure, and it was just them. And Angelica was written almost completely differently. She was wide-eyed, full of wonderment. She looked after Tommy as they went around places. She was much sweeter to him. And then as soon as the series started, they shifted that.
Yeah.
And they made her all nasty and mean. And I was so like,
and a brat.
Yeah, and a brat. And what's interesting is that even as a kid, I was able to adjust to that. And I was able to like immediately not sort of get upset over that sort of contradiction. But I picked it up even as a kid. And I was all like, oh, that's not exactly lining up.
Yeah, the big thing I remember about the first episode of Rugrats was they were wanting to get dog food and eat it.
That's right. Yes.
Which kids, it's a fascinating thing, which is funny because I just read an article about the Beyond Burger.
Yes.
And there's a scientist that has gone and said that 3 of the components of the Beyond Burgers are basically the same components of dog food.
Right.
So I'm hoping that's not true, because that should be like FDA should be pulling that product off the shelf.
Right.
Because dog food is not safe for human consumption.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, it depends on what those ingredients are because
Right.
lamb meat isn't dog food, but humans can eat lamb meat. So
This is true.
So it all depends. I'm not an expert on Beyond Burgers or anything. I'm still a savage and will eat a regular beef patty. So
Special sauce and the lettuce and cheese.
Yes.
Bacon,
Yes, sir.
onions on a sesame seed bun.
all that, please.
All that.
Yes, sir.
But
All that in my tummy.
yeah. But yeah, I guess this would probably be around a good place to end this first section.
If we have to.
Okay.
Because
Well,
it is right on an hour
All right.
of
Yeah.
conversation.
Okay. So then at that point, we may break this one up into two, but then
Yeah.
what we'll do is we'll go ahead and transition into part two.
Yeah.